feels great. I mean, we're very excited.
Yeah.
It was a whirlwind shoot. I mean, but it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And the audience was electric in the arena. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just excited for that to translate to screen, essentially.
Yeah, from what started out as an idea of just a nostalgic one-off, for me and Barney, and a family sort of nostalgic look back at the show, ended up into a series.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, really. And I don't know how they pulled it off at Hungry Bear, but they did, and they've done a most fantastic job.
Welcome to Gladiators,
where everyday people take on our superhuman gladiators.
Watching the original shows and stuff, you could see how the dynamics worked and things like that. And obviously working with Dad is great because we bounce off each other very well, and it just feels very natural banter, essentially.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what got us the gig in the end.
Yeah.
Our show on ITV, they wanted a family slant on it. So our show on ITV, Breaking Dad, that's where that came from. That's how we ended up in that sort of role.
And I think it's great because there's Dad's generation who grew up with the original that have now got children of their own.
Yeah.
And they're now going to sit down. It's a real family moment for them to sit down with their children and show the children the new version of Gladiators.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of the family dynamic, it's all there. And in terms of me stepping up to do this show, it felt right. And
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was amazing fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We had a great time.
The kids loved it, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
The kids went mad in the arena, went mad for it. And I mean mad. Like, it just potty. It was really great.
In new events and classics, who is up to the challenge? What an epic eliminator!
I wasn't expecting the electricity that we received when we walked out on that floor.
And I honestly can't remember. Because my wife, Barney's mum, worked on it back in the day. And I used to have to go and watch it be made. I used to go spend, that was my summer holiday with Barnes's mum, and I used to wheel Barney around on the arena floor when he was a baby. And I can't remember it being like that at all. I mean, it must have been. But when we stepped into the arena this time to make it, it was like, oh my God, it really made me feel a bit, oh, hang on a minute, I've got to get this right. You know, I mean, I've done loads of stuff, but that's a big old gig.
It's such a beloved format in not just the British psyche, but worldwide. I mean,
true.
You know, Gladiators sold all over the world and was a massive hit everywhere. So there's definitely big shoes to fill there. But we had a great time and we bounced off each other great. And I think I think it's a great show. It's a very entertaining show.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's true to the original as well. It pays homage to the original. It's really very nostalgic.
Yeah. We had a couple of gladiators turn up, didn't they?
We did.
To come and watch the show and loved it. They loved it. They were there. I can't remember. Was it Saracen? Saracen. And one of the all-time winners, the original all-time winners of the show, Mark Mottram, who won the show of shows, came to watch and brought his family as well, and come up to afterwards and said, I loved it. And I said to Mark, do you fancy it now? Do you fancy it now? And he went, too old now. He said, it's a bit too much now, he said. You know what I mean? He said, but the bones are aching. And so it would be a tough ask for anyone, I promise you.
That being said, we did have some older contenders, which definitely held their own.
Oh, yeah. Brilliant.
There was one guy who was, if I remember rightly, he was 50.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not thinking of me?
No. No, that would be 60. But no.
He's right.
No,
I'm glad you said 60.
What's his
At
name?
least I'm younger. You've made me younger than I actually am.
Do you remember his name? He was one of the contenders, and he had grandchildren.
Yeah. Oh, I do remember him. I do remember who you're talking about.
It's just that's cool to see because fitness doesn't have an age, you know, and anyone can wake up and decide they want to, you know, get fitter for themselves and for their own bodies. And I think Gladiators is a great advert for that. You know, you're seeing these people at the top of their peak physical condition.
Yeah.
And it's great role models for the kids, and it's great role models for the parents as well.
Yeah, true that. Yeah, so true. I'm practicing. I practiced and practiced and practiced walking from my dressing room into the arena every day. That for me was, and I managed it on nearly every occasion. Only a couple of times I went wrong. I couldn't even get out of bed. Never mind. I could struggle get up the stairs. Never mind getting on the travelator.
We did the Eliminator when we filmed it, and Dad finished just in time for this interview. So that's good. We did do the
Brave.
I wanted to do the games though. I wanted to have a go at the games for sure.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Brand new Gladiators.
You've got to get to know what floats their boat, what riles them as well, because you've got to remember, you want to be on the side of the contenders, don't you? You want the contenders to win. That's what you want. And so, for me anyway, and I just think to get there early and to get to know them and to find out what they like and what they don't like. I mean, we had good chats with them, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
And, you could see straight away that Legend was a proper character, and you won't be able to wind him up at all. Viper, you knew what buttons to press to get him riled up, and Mark Clattenburg did the same thing as well. Mm-hmm. So Clats knew exactly, it's really good. I mean, it's a bit like the Panto villain scenario, really. It is, and it's a very clever dynamic. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I would say in my career, that's 11, 12 days of the one of the most wonderful shows that I've ever worked on. And I was really nervous. Even in the amount of stuff I've done. I mean, I did my first TV in 1986, and I was really nervous going into that arena because I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't know, unless you've got a crowd in there, when you walk out and you see 3,000 people, hang on a minute, this is like, you can do stadium gigs and stand-up comedy, but when you host a show and you've got all the games and everyone rooting for everyone, the screaming, the shouting, it's amazing.
And they've all made signs, and they've all got their fingers, and they're like,
yeah,
the real gladiator fever.
Yeah,
and it seems like the country's on to gladiator fever now, and it's exciting for the show.
No, you're right. When the kids were leaning over the barriers, asking all the gladiators sign and stuff, the gladiator is standing next to a kid. It's like giant. It's next to a kid. It's like, oh my God, they must look up and think this is like a block of flats. It's amazing, It really is.